Now it's time for more of Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk Hookup. Get ready for more of the best fishing information and the hottest tips on improving your angling skills. Let's Talk Hookup is sponsored in part by Yamaha Outboards. Reliability starts here. Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup. Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. And by Rancho Leonero, where your wildest Baja dreams come true. And now, Southern California's sports fishing voice, the hosts of Let's Talk Hookup, Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Maxa, and Corey Sandin.
Welcome back. Hour number 2. Let's Talk Hookup with Captain Roy Rose from the Royal Polaris. Man, we're having a great time this morning talking fishing. You can catch the first hour of the show. Pete had a little unexpected hiccup, but had a very successful surgery and is recovering well and will certainly be back with us next weekend. And we're wishing you a very speedy recovery, Pete. I know he's listening, and I guarantee you he's bummed not being in the show, joking and having a laugh. And, Pete had so much great stories to it. So we're thinking about you, buddy, and get better soon. But, man, we're having a great show this morning, Corey. Talking fishing with Captain Roy Rose.
Man, it doesn't get any better, does it? I know, like I said, all the stars are aligning. If you want to be a part of the show, it is true, man. Come on, Roy. And give us a shout at 213-432-1090. That's your way to get into a call. And I think there's one open line there, maybe.
Yeah.
And
or you dropped off during the break. Good time to call.
Or via the app. Text us. Give us a text. There's been several good texts and very appropriate.
Yeah, we're going to be reading a lot more of those throughout the show and taking a lot more of your phone calls. Like Corey said, 213-432-1090. But right now, it's time to find out what's biting out there. It is time for the Catch Report, and our FishDope.com report today is sponsored by the Fish Pros at Fisherman's Processing in San Diego. Not only do they offer the best processing for your fish when your trip returns to the San Diego landings, as well as your private boat catch, but now with Fish Pros, the market, you can purchase fresh fish. They have smoked and jerkied fish, their spices, rubs, smoked cheese, and those famous tuna burgers. Also, check out the brand new and amazing Poke Kit. Call them for details or order online at fishermansprocessing.com. We got the private boater buddy standing by, Captain Mark Wish of Pacific Edge. Good morning, Mark.
Hey, good morning, Ricky, Corey, Roy. A great show, man. Just loving listening to you guys.
We're having fun.
Yeah, for sure. So one of my all-time favorite lines from a movie was from That Perfect Storm when the guy says, "She's coming on, boys, and she's coming on strong." Well, if our forecast verifies for later on today and tonight, we're going to have that same setup, man. They're talking about up to 40 knots for some of the inner waters here. So we'll see. Hopefully it don't do it, but whichever. It sucks because we've had some really good signal here in that nice weather before this last storm. So starting locally, it's going to give some congratulations to Billy Seiler for Sea Bass of the Year for the Balboa Angling Club. Nice going, buddy. And there's been a little bit of that good grade fish around, and now that we've seen a little bit of squid, probably a little more than a little, starting to show up down there in that checkpoint zone below Dana Point, that's often the precursor to some really good bait grounds fishing along the coast here. So we'll see what develops with that. And Catalina, still some squid around up the back there, mostly east end towards backside middle like that. And sprinkle of good grade yellows on the bait, of course. And most of those are jig and squid combo fish or dropper loop setups. Most of that stuff's kind of hovering down toward the bottom. And you want to definitely pull hard when you hook one, guys. There's massive seal pressure on the backside right now. It's just ugly. And mixed in with that yellow, you get a few nice halibut and the occasional sea bass sulking around there also. And then San Clemente had some interesting reports there from before the weather. Major uptick in the yellowtail fishing over there. Good scores and some really nice ones. But with the wind machine cranked up for full speed here for the next several days now, that those fish back there will get a good rest. But seems like there's a good area, and they were biting pretty good. So we'll see what happens. But, man, I'm just having so much fun listening to you guys talking about Corvina on poppers and muskies on surface iron.
Right?
I just love that. But, Ricky, I got a new business venture for you, buddy.
I'm ready.
Okay, so when you guys were talking earlier in the show, you were talking about big fish in the corner and how you're putting that pressure on, and you made the comment about it's all about stealing inches, which is so true, and I just love that phrase. So that should be the title for your new book, Stealing Inches, Short Stories about long-range fishing.
I like it, buddy.
It'd be classic, buddy.
That's great. Great thinking, Mark.
That's cool. Mark, A great report as always, man. Thanks for compiling such good info for the private boaters and all that great fish dope information. If you want to get in on all that great information, it's easy to do because guys like Mark share all that with Danny and Jeff and the boys at Fish Dope. You can save $20 off of a new membership to fishdope.com by using the code HOOKUPNOW. HOOKUPNOW, all lowercase with no space, saves you $20 on a new membership. And if you want the best bait tanks in the world or great fishing advice to go with it, Mark, how do we find you at Pacific Edge?
Oh, Ricky, we're on the corner of Bolsa Chica and Edinger and Huntington Beach. The phone number at the store is area code 714-840-4262. The website's PacificEdgeTackle.com. And one of my favorite signs of spring, the white flowers on the
dogwoods, Mark.
Oh, they're busting out everywhere, and they're dropping right on schedule. So it's game on, guys. Get ready.
You know, Mark, I pay attention to your reports, and I was going to ask you that question as you brought it out.
That's pretty cool.
The dogwoods blooming down the street from you.
They are going full speed, and it's probably about a week behind schedule. Usually it's like the first week of February, but in that breeze we had yesterday after the little front, they started coming down big time. But, yeah, close enough. And
so when those things start blooming, that means squid in the bait grounds and sea bass to be caught on 40-pound?
Flowers are coming down. Fish are coming up. They're biting. You bet.
I like it. All right, Mark.
Cool, Mark. Well, great report, buddy. We'll look forward to talking to you next week. Thanks a lot for that. Well, while we're waiting for Marcos to get rolling in, we got another text. This was says, I love fishing the RP, and I've been fishing with Roy for years. Such a great time. Roy, what's the biggest fish ever landed on the Royal Polaris?
Good question.
Biggest fish, period?
Yellowfin?
Well, I know the largest yellowfin they had was a 395, but that was when Brian was driving. Dave Manila got that. That was
$395.
Yeah, yellowfin.
And so, you know, I know that wasn't the quote unquote world record fish, just because it was something disqualified it or what.
Yeah, to my knowledge,
the only reason I know that is because growing up for years in the tackle store, we got the 388, which is big, which also came on the Royal Polaris. What was it about that 395 that didn't?
Well, just passing the rod around,
sure.
Going underneath the anchor and passing the rod back. I mean, we're not going to have some 70. Hey, get up there, pass your rod around. You got a 75-year-old guy up there. You know,
it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, no, you're not Bruce Boston. Let's get out of there.
Do you remember where that 395 was caught at?
I believe that was caught at Clarion.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's it. Well, hey, appreciate the text very much. Again, while we're waiting, why don't we jump into the phones, Corey?
Let's do it. Let's talk to Rich. Rich, call from Marietta. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup this morning, Rich. Thanks for joining us.
On the trailer.
Sounds like
Rich got to hook the boat up. Yeah, man, back it up a little far. Straight, man. You got us there, Rich? Well, looks like Rich might have stepped away. Why don't we grab Jim from National City?
Yeah, good morning, Jim.
Hey, good morning, guys. Couple of things. Pete, our prayers are with him, and all will go well. But my question today is, Rick, I know your dad got you started in fishing, and my dad got me started in fishing. Roy, you mentioned earlier on the show a couple of things. First, that technique for fighting those big fish, how the bodybuilder compared to the girl that weighs 100 pounds. And here the last couple of years, or maybe more, that technique has come into play, and that was a very interesting point when you brought that up. But the thing I really wanted to ask you this morning, Roy, is you mentioned your dad got you started in fishing, and I would like a little history on your father. I'm really envious of you. My father has passed, and but anyway, a little history on your father and what his fishing history was. I know you said he ran that six-pack boat. Was he ever into the sport fishing thing, or how about a little history on your father, Roy?
I think that's a good one, Jim and Roy. I mean, that's I remember personally a very colorful individual.
Yes. He colorful, yes.
Well, just color. He was very vibrant.
No, he is a very good fisherman. I learned a lot from him working when I was little. But anyway, he He ran Navy boats in, I believe it was 1956. He was in the Navy, and he ran the sport boats for the Navy for years.
Which ran out of North Island,
Ran out of North Island, yeah.
In San Diego Bay.
Yeah, he ran those. And then Vietnam came, so we had to go do Vietnam for a little while. And then he came back, and he started running the boat off the island city of Imperial Beach. He ran that for like 12 or 14 years off the IB Pier. Then he
like half day, three-quarter day?
Half and three-quarter day trips.
Was that
and that was up in Imperial
Dick
Beach
Zachman?
Pier. Yeah, Dick Zachman. You probably fished with him.
I did. I Jay Cox down there, and my best buddy who has passed, Danny Crackalisi, they called him Crack. He was the deckhand. And I can remember loading passengers on that boat off the pier, 10, 12-foot Zoils. 70-year-old people would put one or two on the boat. The boat would go down, and then back. Never lost nobody, so we had a good record going.
Oh yeah,
there.
No. And then you probably know my dad. He ran the. He was there forever. He had glasses, and he always had a cigar in his mouth.
That's cool.
The iconic cigar, I remember. And talking and being vibrant and yelling at people. Not yelling, but yelling at people, but just yelling commands from the bait tank. I remember him so clearly, and with a cigar in the corner of his mouth while doing it all.
Now that you mentioned it, I probably learned that from him, between him and Frank.
Yeah. So your dad from the IB Pier, I remember him in the Mission Bay era.
Yeah,
on the Easy Rider.
So we ran, and then he just started running six-pack yachts and
so
stuff
he went
like
from the
that.
IB Pier to Mission Bay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doing
cool.
that.
Hey, Jim, appreciate the phone call,
Yeah.
man. That's pretty darn cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of Mission Bay, we're going to head on down, continue with the Catch Report, find out what's going on down at Seaforth Sport Fishing, and talk to our buddy Marcos. Marcos, what's going on at Seaforth?
Good morning. How's everyone doing this morning?
Oh, we're having a blast this morning.
Sounds like it there. Well, we had some good fishing this week, about same thing we had last week, some actually decent sand bass and sculpin fishing, little calico bass in there, and it's actually pretty solid during the week. Got our morning trip out this morning. Unfortunately, we're kind of watching the weather here, and looks like we might have a little bit of rough patch here. But things should get back normal pretty quick, so definitely check the website there. Got those half days. Currently, the Sea Watch running them pretty soon. The new Seaforth will be back in the water running trips. Not next week, but we're targeting the following week there. And then after that, gosh, we've only got a couple more weeks, and then that rockfish opens back up, and we'll be running those rockfish trips again. So definitely check the website, seaforthlanding.com. In addition to those half-day trips, the Tribute and the Polaris Supreme both have their early schedules up, starting the late March there into April and May there. So definitely check that out if you want to get on Tribute, do a one-day, day and a half, or check out the Polaris Supreme running some of those day and a halves, which, like we've talked about, new boat's still landing here, and it's looking really nice. I went down there, checked out the boat, and that's a really nice boat down there. So a few options for you. Again, seaforthlanding.com. Give us a call at the office, 619-224-3383. Or come down and visit us in person. Time to get that gear ready for the season, because it'll be on us before we know it.
No doubt, Marcos. Great call. Sounds like some good fishing. Like you say, we'll let the little bit of weather blow through. It looks like it's pretty darn good. I was just on windy there latter part of the week, so I think we'll be right back on it. Marcos, great job. Appreciate the report. And if somebody does want to book on the Supreme or any of the great trips going out of Seaforth, one more time, give us the number. How do we do it?
So for the half days and eventually the full days and those shorter trips on the Supreme and the Tribute, the one day, day and a half, seaforthlanding.com. For those longer trips on the Polaris Supreme, you're going to contact Mike Gog over there. You know, he wasn't obvious helping them out now. For those longer trips, he's going to be doing all that booking, and you can give him a call. Number and email is on the PolarisSupreme.com website there. So depends what you want to do, but we're going to help you out and get you guys out there fishing as best as we can.
I love it, Marcos. Great job. Appreciate it very much. We'll look forward to talking next week.
We'll talk to you then, guys.
Thanks, buddy.
That's definitely good stuff, Rick. And the report is sponsored by Anza Knives, handcrafting knives in USA for over 3 decades. Check out the Fish Pro Series and the custom bluefin and yellowfin from Anza Knives, made from high-carbon steel, which holds a great edge and is easy to sharpen. Anza Knives are the finest fillet knives ever produced. Anza also offers knives for military, law enforcement, and hunting. Check AnzaKnives.com for more details, or get the Fish Pro Series of Fishman's Processing.
And we're giving away one of those Anza knives at the end of the show today. A great prize for a lucky winner. Again, if you want to get through, have your shot at that great prize, or better yet, just your chance to talk to Roy, 212-432-1090. Let's go to the text. This one, hey, can you please ask Captain Roy to talk about the knot that he created to tie solid spectra called Roy's Mistake. He said, I was listening to the John Collins show, and I love the sounds of that, and can you please have Pete take a video of it one of these days so we can see it for ourselves?
Roy's Mistake.
Oh, my dad's probably not going to like this, but I used to fly kites with my dad's rods and reels when I was little, and one day I was out there flying the kite with he had a Penn squitter. Anyway, he had the plastic spool, and it was really windy, and it got away from me, so the line got caught behind the spool, and it broke, so I had my little sister hold it, and the kite's up there, and she says, oh, my hands. I'm like, hang on. Go get this knot book my dad had, and I'm looking at it.
Trying to figure out how to connect it.
Yeah, but I'm only like 8 years old, 7 years old, so I go, okay. So I took the two ends, wrapped it 7 times, and then it said wrap 7 times again. So I just took the 2 tag ends, wrapped those 7 times, wet it, pulled it tight. I looked at it, and it didn't look like the knot in the book, but my sister was starting to cry, so I go, I don't have time for that. I cut the ends, wound it back on, put the real rod away. And,
oh yeah,
and never. He's going to find out today. Never told him, but he went fishing on an Ensenada boat, and he caught 3 nice 25-pound yellows, and
that knot went in and out.
The knot went in and out of those guides, and I'm sure he was looking at it going,
what the heck?
I don't remember splicing this. So if you remember that, Dad, that's what happened.
Yeah, my bad.
Oh, good
that's
stuff,
pretty cool.
Roy.
But yeah, so then I go, well, heck, it held. So I started tying it. I've been using it forever.
And that's been your knot.
That's crazy.
That's cool. Good call, Cheer. That was a solid text. Appreciate it very much. Corey, why don't we jump back into the phones?
Let's do it, Rick. Oh my gosh, Rich wants to join the fun. Rich from Marietta, welcome to Let's Talk Hookup. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, fellas. I was just wondering, and my prayers and family to Pete, obviously, but I was trying to figure out, for the yellowfin and bluefin, do you use the same setup, and how would you go from braid to how much mono to fluoro, and what color fluoro?
Interesting.
Same tackle-wise, if you're catching the same size tuna, 50-pound bluefin, yellowfin, any need to change gear around at all?
No, just the tuna. It's all.
I was thinking larger ones, like how long?
Well, personally, if you're gonna fish for anything that's 1 to 400 pounds, 100 to 400. I mean, the biggest fish. Personally, I like to tell the people when they come on the boat, if you're gonna use fluorocarbon, use 12 feet, 15 feet. All right, you don't want any extra connections. I can't stand seeing a seaguar knot or any knot in between a 4-foot piece of fluorocarbon and mono. If you're gonna fish fluorocarbon, I personally like to see a 15-foot piece straight to the spectra, 15, 20-foot, whatever, and then work your way back as you catch fish. Cut some line off, tie a hook, cut it off. You catch a fish, cut it off. That way, it's just less things to blow out on you.
And I can only imagine. I mean, probably one of the worst things you see is like the length of the rod, like a 6-foot section. Having that knot outside the rod tip with that fish coming to gaff, it's got to be a nail biter. I mean, for everybody.
Oh yeah, no, we had a long trip, and this dude he was fishing
a short section.
And I said, you really don't want to do that. And he'd never landed a 200-pound fish, and it was good fishing, and he catches one about 140, and he gives me this smug look. I said, Dad, all right. Then he catches
then
he got a 170, and he got that one. He gave me that funny look. Then he had one about 220 at color, and that knot blew out. And I looked at him and I go, what happened there?
That's a rough I told you so.
Oh, yeah, but here's the cool part. He wound it in. He goes, have your boys set me up proper.
Yeah,
it is.
So we topped off the reel with Spectra, because it was like 200 yards down. We topped it off, set him up with stuffing them in there and crimping them. He got
Sato crimped it?
Yeah, he got a 215 that trip.
No kidding,
Nice.
that's great. That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
As far as big fish line goes, do you like that Sato crimp? I mean, that's a way that you, as far as connecting big line to Spectra, found nice and clean and fast and strong?
Yes, it is.
I know that's
very effective. You want, especially when you're fishing that shorter top shot, like we're saying, a 15, 20-foot piece, you want to have a castable splice. You want it to be flawless when it's going through the guides. You don't want to be hitting any knots because then you're going to be getting backlashes and just frustrate you.
Does it do anything better to have a 30, 40, and I'm just a layman in the big tuna arena, right? But is it better to have a 30 or 40-foot section of fluoro? Or is it does not do you any benefit? It's better to have that 15 to 20.
Well, there's a couple different scenarios where let's say if it's rougher.
Oh, okay, with the boat rolling.
If the boat rolling is 15, 20, it's 18, 20 knots, 25 knots. The boat's going up and down 12 feet, 15 feet. At that point, I'll tell the passengers, you know what?
Lengthen it out.
Lengthen it out or go to mono. You want some shock absorption in there. You want some
That
stretch.
makes sense.
Okay.
And you guys switch it up, use mono, and just fish the straight mono. We've caught plenty of fish with mono in the past. Everyone thinks fluorocarbon's magic. It's all about bait selection because Eddie does it full speed to the people on the boat. He just uses Iserline 130
straight mono.
And get the job done.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Great.
What about, I think he mentioned colors, like you ever see the colored fluorocarbon or colored line? You know, some guys use that pink fluoro. Do you think it makes any bit of a difference?
Yeah.
Personally, I don't. It's just your personal preference.
Yeah. All of it probably comes back to exactly what you said. Picking a better bait is going to win every time.
Yeah.
But you don't see the fluoro. I mean, like with the bass fishing, the fluoro for me is a big deal because the abrasion resistance.
No,
so I go to the cyclofluorocarbon or the Seaguar just for that purpose, for the abrasion.
No, I know. Like, even when I fish down in Gonzaga Bay, it's abrasion. But you're not when you're fighting a tuna. You're not going up against rocks and trees and
I got you.
You're not coming out of the kelp.
Hopefully, it's a circle hook in the corner.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got you. All right, that makes sense.
That's great. Hey, appreciate the phone call very much. Why don't we jump right back into them?
Let's do it. Let's talk to Gary. Gary, calling from Colorado. Good morning. Welcome to the show this morning, Gary.
Good morning, Corey and Rick. And shout out to Pete. And this question is for Roy. You know, on a 7-day trip in September, my family's going out, and there'll be about, I don't know, maybe 6 of us. And we fish 7-day trips mostly in the spring. And I feel like I'm a little undergunned on tackle. I do great right up until I get above 60 pound. And I've got a 6.0 reel. Is there any place on that type of trip where I can use that 6.0 reel, let's say, for trolling for wahoo or anything, or is that just undergunned?
No, that 6.0 will be fine. You can use that for putting 100-pound on it. You can use that for your dropper loop outfit and your trolling outfit.
What about gear, Roy? Well, if you're in a situation like Gary is, where he's slightly undergunned with tackle, and especially if you're bringing guests and you need some extra gear, does the boat have gear? Do they get it from the landing? Like, what do you do if you're like Gary, you're wanting to go on a big fish trip, but you not necessarily wanting to shell out a $1,500 on a killer 2-speed outfit? For
if you come fishing on the Royal Polaris, we will give you the rods and reels.
Just to use and borrow for the trip?
Yes, just to use and borrow for the trip.
Which is awesome.
And all you do is pay for the top shots. So if you're going to want to be using fluorocarbon, you can bring your own line and put it on the rods and reels yourselves, or you could just get what we have on the boat and have us put it on.
And honestly, Roy, that's pennies for what that outfit.
Oh, yeah. No, and then you can come out and actually use it, and you figure, you know what, hey, I like this. And then you go right up in the tackle shop, see Rick, and then pick yourself up one.
There it is. And so Gary can jump on the boat and maybe use an outfit or two.
Yeah, he just needs to let Monica know that you're going to need some tackle, and whatever you're going to need, we will fill that in.
That's cool, but you got to know ahead of time.
Yeah,
so you know what you got to know what to get ready.
Well, that way, yeah, exactly, because sometimes we'll have 20 cents of rental gear, then we got to go to the tackle shop and get it.
Got it.
You know.
All right, Gary, appreciate the phone call very much. We had another text come through. This is from Kurt in Mo Valley. He said, good morning, guys. I always have heard that Roy has a secret candy drawer on the boat. I need to know what kind of candy it's filled with. Thanks, and have a good day. Also, surface iron work for stripers as well. What's in the candy drawer?
Well, that thing has whatever. It's got everything in it. Chris Garcia just cleaned it out.
I like it. Corey, why don't we jump back on the phones?
Oh, let's do it. We're having a good time, Rick. And Chuck from Long Beach, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, everybody, and my thoughts out to Pete. For someone who's new to long range, Roy, what do you think is the ideal trip to kind of jump on and break in to get a good feel for whether it's going to be right for you or not?
You know what? I would get on a 7 or an 8 day trip, because that's going to give you variety, show you a bunch of different scenarios as far as fishing goes. Whether it be like, let's say we have to run down to the ridge, fish yellowtail, spring the yellowtail down the ridge, and then fish our way up the coast and end up here fishing for bluefin the last day or so, or go to Leos Rocks, fish that. Let's say we go down there in August or September. We go fish the rocks for a day, target the wahoo, and whatever else is around there. Next day we go in, we fish the ridge, leave there, go back up, fish San Pablo, then work our way up the beach. And that would give you just a sample of everything else. We go to the same exact places on the 10-day trips. We just spend more time there.
7-day gives you like the time to either hang out and fish for a long time, or gives you the option to run a long way, or it gives you the options of doing all those things.
And it really gives you the options, Roy, for, if you have a bad day or two, you're going to make it up somewhere else, right? And jumping on like a 2 or 3 day trip, you're really limiting yourself for success.
Yeah.
Possibly. I mean, I'm just laying that scenario out, By that 7 or 8 day, you're opening up your options and you're bettering your odds of an awesome trip.
Well, that's just it, too. Then you'll figure out, hey, do I want to go on a longer one? And then you can go, well, you know what? I only like doing the offshore thing, so I'll just stick with 3 days. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
The thing too you mentioned, I want to know if it's right for me. The one thing people always maybe say that they haven't been on a trip that long. Man, I don't know what it's going to be like to be on the boat for 7 days. You are going to turn around and that trip is going to be over. Like, you're putting your rods and reels together and you stoked and you start catching fish and eating good food and having good times with your buds. And I mean, man, you turn around. You've never seen a week go by so fast in your life.
And 20 pounds heavier coming off the boat.
No doubt about it. Appreciate the phone call very much.
All right. Hey, Chuck, we're going to be right back on Let's Talk Hookup. It's Let's Talk Hookup app and a mightier 1090.
If you're looking for a high-quality cocktail that's also easy to enjoy on your next fishing trip, check out Cutwater Spirits' lineup of canned cocktails. Cutwater's master distiller and co-founder, Yusuf Cherney, is a hardcore fisherman. In fact, he developed Cutwater with all his favorite adventures in mind. Yusuf takes Cutwater's award-winning spirits, uses them to make real cocktails, and then puts them into cans so you can take them anywhere. It's like they were made for fishing because they were actually made for fishing. Check out their popular canned margarita made with real tequila, the zesty vodka mule, or the spicy Bloody Mary, which has some serious bite. They also make super refreshing vodka sodas in grapefruit, lime, and cucumber flavors. Just crack the can and enjoy a bar-quality cocktail even when there's no bar in sight. Back at the dock or at your evening anchorage in Catalina, Cutwater cocktails are exactly what you need for your next fishing trip. You can check out all 18 of Cutwater's canned cocktails at cutwaterspirits.com and then look for them at your local liquor store. Then go ahead and set your cocktail free. Please enjoy responsibly.
Your vacation bucket list can't be completed without visiting the Katmai Lodge, Alaska this summer. A world-class wilderness fishing paradise on the banks of the famed Alagnak River. Get in the action, fishing for all 5 species of Pacific salmon, king, sockeye, chum, coho, plus trophy-sized rainbow trout, Arctic grayling and Dolly Varden, both in the Alagnak and nearby waters. Katmai Lodge's Coast Guard and CPR certified guides are fly fishing fanatics and know how to help you reel them in, ensuring your days are fish-filled while you enjoy freshly prepared snacks and barbecued lunches on the river. Back at the lodge, enjoy fireside appetizers and refreshments each afternoon. Delicious dinner prepared by the lodge's exceptional chef. Take a quick fly-out trip to Brooks Falls in Katmai National Park for world-renowned bear watching. And check out our trout fishing specials at katmai.com. That's KATMAI.com. Katmai.com.
Gotta love California in the summer. Just remember, COVID is still with us. So if you're going to the water, plan ahead, follow local public health guidelines, and make sure everyone wears a life jacket. Save the ones you love. A message from California State Parks Division of Boating and Waterways.
A top fleet and superb fishing is what Seaforth Sport Fishing in Mission Bay is all about. With free parking and fully stocked tackle shop, it's no wonder Seaforth Sport Fishing is a favorite among anglers. Come aboard top boats like the Aztec, Cortez, Endeavor, Apollo, Outer Limits, El Gato Dos, Pride, Tribute Pacifica, Pacific Voyager, and the Voyager. Plus, the new Seaforth, Sea-Watch, and San Diego offer the finest half and full day trips available. Seaforth Sport Fishing. For charters or regular open parties, schedule check seaforthlanding.com. Run by fishermen for fishermen in Mission Bay.
Rock Cod Rick here for West Coast Marine and Parker Boats. You see them all over Southern California waters. Parker Boats at the launch ramp, the offshore islands. You wake up in the morning on an overnight trip and there they are. Parker Boats of all size fishing in the same area as the sporties. There's a good reason for it. Fishability and seaworthiness. Of all the boats out there, my boat partner and I chose to get a brand new 25 Parker center console from Kevin Kelly and the gang at West Coast Marine, and I could not be happier. Wow, what a fishing machine. Parker Marine builds a heavy-duty, industrial strength boat, probably overbuilt, but that's why so many 4- and 6-pack charters choose to operate Parkers. We thank the guys at Pinnacle Sport Fishing, Season Sport Fishing, One-Man Charters, Black and Blue Sport Fishing for their confidence in Parker boats. Take it from me, if you are ready for a new Parker at a fair, upfront, and honest deal, you need to see Kevin Kelly at West Coast Marine, located at 1555 Newport Boulevard in Costa Mesa, or check out their inventory and information at westcoastmarine.com. All right, having a great time this morning. Good fishing and certainly great times. Again, Corey, if somebody wants to join us here, lots of time to get through. One more time, what's the best way we do it?
213-432-1090. We're giving away an Anza fillet knife, a totally cool deal.
No doubt, man.
Yeah.
A great prize. Certainly great opportunity. Again, if you want to get through, lots of great time. Lots of good texts coming through as well. If you want to text the show via the Let's Talk Hookup app, super easy, free download, and get you hooked up with that Anza.
Such a cool addition, too. You know, the text the show deal, Rick.
Totally.
And the app is so easy, dude. I work during the week, and while I'm working, I have the app and listen to the previous shows if I wasn't available during the weekend.
Totally.
Yeah, it works out great.
Well, the phones are packed up. Everybody's excited to roll into it. Why don't we do that, Corey, and jump back into the phones?
Let's talk to Grant. Grant calling from San Carlos. Good morning, Grant. Welcome to the show.
How you doing, boys?
Doing good, Grant.
Hey, Roy, I wanted to take you back in a time machine. This is Grant Christensen here. My son is Ryan, if you recall.
Oh, no.
Back to night. Go ahead.
No, I remember him. Shipwreck.
Yeah.
Shipmate.
I know.
Shipmate, shipwreck. Yeah. Anyways, let's go back to 1998 on a family trip, and we're into a nice school of, let's say, 40 to 65-pound bluefin with a little mix of yellowtail and albacore. And I remember him at a young age of 10 years old with his TLD 30 up in what was named at the time Roy's World in the bow. Oh. And you had all those kids under your tutelage, if you will, and they were catching fish after fish after fish. And I'll never forget it because I was throwing a Tatty 9 in the corner and Frank was on the tank. And I went to I was hooking a fish here and there, and I went to just kind of walk up and see what the kids were doing. And Frank stopped me and he said, "You're not stopping fishing, are you?" I said, "Oh, no, I'm just going to go check on the boys." And he goes, "You don't think they have it covered up there?" "No, Frank, I know they do. I threw that Tatty 9 back in the water and got bit on the next cast. That's why I need you fishing there."
That's cool.
And I'll never forget that. And Roy, you had that boy. He caught 6 or 7 of those bluefin. And I remember one thing. He goes, you said to him, "Now, you remember when you went to the park with your dad and you sat on the teeter-totter? Just sit on that rod and pretend your dad's on the other end." And it worked very well.
That was it.
Great times, great memories, buddy.
That's cool, Grant. Yeah. Great phone call. That's a lot of fun. Appreciate the phone
Take
call
care.
very much.
Thanks for the trip down memory lane.
Right? I know, like good stuff. I know, Roy, for sure.
Yeah. This was a fun text that came through. It said, hey, great show, guys. Love hearing Roy. This is Dave in Oceanside. Have you ever had to return back to the dock because the weather was so poor? I can't imagine on a boat as big as the Royal Polaris.
No. No, we never had to turn around and go back.
That's the beauty of fishing on the big boat.
I know. There was only one time where we couldn't go offshore like we wanted to because it was a couple boats got their windows blown out. So
no kidding.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Well, we ended up just fishing coastal.
That's the beauty of the marine electronics that you have nowadays, and forecasting, and Wi-Fi and everything else. Like, you guys can make whatever moves necessary. You can get in the lee if you need to, and you can get on the beach if you need to, and whatever else.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's cool. Well, that brings up another text. This one was from Goose and Dana. It says, hey, Roy, could you explain what the marine electronics are like on board the Royal Polaris, and what is your most important tool?
Great question.
The most important tool I would say my sonar.
Okay.
That thing on any one of these boats, any one of these guys, I'm sure they would probably say the same thing. That sonar. It's very versatile. I mean, if you lost your up and down meter, you'd be able to
work it with the sonar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always like asking people, if you had to make a choice to only have one or the other, like what would be harder to live without, a pair of gyros or your sonar? What's the more important of those two?
Well, I honestly trust my eyeballs more than anything. But like I said, if it was summertime offshore and you're steam, you're half the time you're looking with your glasses and you're finding fish with the breezers and stuff like that, jumpers. Obviously it would be your binoculars.
Okay.
The gyros, but in all actuality, like I said, if it was the electronics, I would have to say the sonar.
Gotcha.
And the water temperature gauge.
Okay. Right on. That's great. Well, great text. Let's jump back into them, Corey.
Let's do it, Rick. Let's talk to Hills. Hills from Ventura. Welcome to the show this morning, Hills.
Hey, good morning, guys. I was listening to the Jack Nicholson tribute show a couple weeks back, which was really great. And Kathy Rounds was talking about she was on a trip, and some guy said, you don't belong on a trip like this. And I guess Jack went to the guy and said, hey, she deserves to be here. And Roy, were you on that trip or running it? And I was wondering, did Kathy outfish that guy?
No, I think Frank was running. Frank usually ran all the accurate trips.
That's cool. Good times, though, I'm sure. And I'm sure you did. So were you ever on the boat with Jack? I mean, did he always have when Frank always the helm, or did you ever, were you ever on the deck or do any of the trips when Jack was on the boat? I know he spent so many days on the Royal Polaris, or were those always when you would take your Baja trips off?
Those were pretty much all the trips that I would work the first 3 long trips, and then Frank would run that one.
Gotcha. All right. Well, hey, Hills, appreciate the phone call very much. We got another text from Darren from Menifee. Says, I'm going on a day and a half in April, hopefully for bluefin out of San Diego. What size of those glow flatfalls does Roy recommend? And can you still catch them on a flatfall in the daylight, or is it only in the dark?
No, you catch them daylight. You catch them in daylight. That and those cold snipers. Just make sure you guys change hooks on them. Mm-hmm. Very, very important, because a lot of those hooks are
not meant for catching a big tuna.
No.
And I think that's the thing, that jig was, originally had the intent of catching a rockfish or a salmon somewhere. The problem is 100-pound tuna likes eating that thing real good, but I don't think the hooks were ever designed for that.
Yeah.
Do you guys like swapping for a big single hook? Do you like just a really beefy treble hook? What do you like? What kind of style of hook do you like to put on it when you're swapping it out?
If I'm swapping it out, I'd like to have I'd do like a good, if you can get a good single hook, good size, with the big throat.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Otherwise, one of those big beefy 5X trebles.
Okay.
I personally don't like the treble hook just because it pulls a lot, because it plays on itself a lot. But if you don't have access to a good single hook, then it would be that 5X.
But your choice is a big single. Big single like that Octopus 4X hook from Gamakatsu or a 7691.
7691 or a Big Jobu or something.
You just like a big meaty hook.
Yeah.
I got it. All right. Well, great text there. How do we jump back to the phones, Corey?
Let's do it. Let's talk to Kevin. Kevin from Escondido. Good morning. Welcome to the show this morning, Kevin.
Hey, good morning, Roy. I used to fish with Roy on the Mission Bell when Tom Ebner was running it.
Oh, man.
There it is.
The Seaforth days, going back.
Sand bass, barracuda.
Got some good memories. One time, Roy and I took a 9/16 socket in a Dorito bag and turned the Dorito bag inside out and duct taped it to the socket, and we're catching bonito that way.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's Roy. Leave it to Roy.
Yeah, I always joked, Roy's the reason the 10 millimeter is always missing.
So, Roy, what's Roy's, if Roy could only have one jig stick rig for casting Fatty 45 to Yellowtail, what would it be?
You know what? I like that Seeker. Oh, what's the Alua, right?
The Alua? Yeah, 10 foot.
The 10-foot Alua, yeah.
And then what reel?
Well,
Trinidad?
I still have enough of those noodles. I still remember how to use them.
God, you're killing me, Roy. You're killing me. Dude, the Trinidad literally at that point had revolutionized the cranking power. Seriously.
I know that, but I'm just a creature of habit.
Yeah? All right.
And given the two, did you fish a 338 or a 533?
You know what? If I'm using 50, it's going to be that 530.
Okay.
That 533.
All right. But standing on the Mission Bell, casting, if you had your choice, you like that. You like that little bigger reel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because of the sea lions.
I get it.
The sea lions are really something.
Appreciate that. Answer your question for you, Kevin?
Yeah. Roy, did you ever think you'd be where you are when you were on the Mission Bell?
No. I knew I'd be fishing somewhere.
That's cool.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Right,
and really,
thanks, Kevin. That's a great phone call.
That's really what it is to Roy. It's just fishing. He's just going down to the boat.
Oh, yeah.
But he's taken 18 of his best buddies with him,
That's
really.
it.
You know?
They're paying my gas money.
Right?
I like
yeah, that's exactly.
This text came through for Corey. This is from Darren. Said, hey, I finally found the 5-inch MC weedless at the Longfin. I loaded up. When do you think the calicos are going to start eating near the surface in this spring? I really like the calico and the mackerel colors.
Well, I could tell him that last week. I went out last week and had a handful of fish. So
okay.
It's really not, it is. I mean, it's dependent on, summer and warm water and 64-degree water and that kind of thing. But, hey, last week it was stable conditions for a week, 58-degree water, catching fish on the 7-inch weedless in the La Jolla kelp.
Wow, no kidding.
There it is.
There it is.
Done deal.
They gotta eat.
Fish up to 4 pounds.
And you said something that was important there. It's consistency in weather.
Stability.
It doesn't necessarily have to be perfect purple blue. Whatever you jot down as what you think the most ideal condition is, as long as it's steady for a few days.
That's
those
exactly
things are going to
it.
let their guard down, give you a shot.
That's it. Now 5 inches is a perfect size. They have them at the Longfin. They've got them at Save-On. They have not every store has them. That's why I mentioned it. Save-On, Longfin, and Fisherman's Landing, and East County Bait and Tackle. So it's only a few shops that have them, but they match up to a 7/0 Gamakatsu Superline weighted swim bait hook.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's a perfect match.
That's a good call, Darren. Appreciate that very much. Let's jump back into the phones.
Let's do it. Let's talk to Paul. Paul, calling from Bellflower. Good morning, Paul. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
What's up, Paul?
Good morning, fellas. Good morning. Okay, this is about tip etiquette. I travel a lot, or I go a lot on overnights and day and a halves. Never been on a 7-day. So, tipping, what would you? Can you guys spell this out and give some tip etiquette? Also on like overnights and day and a halves. What should a guy tip and like that? Just kind of spell it out.
I think that's something that's not really talked about all too often, really, too, Roy. So it's a good question. When somebody comes on the RP, what do you? I mean, it's.
And also winning the jackpot. Also winning the jackpot. What should a guy do? And spell that out for me.
Well, normally, if a guy gives half the jackpot to the crew, that's fine. I mean, because you think about it, a lot of times you see a guy that was in the wheels, the line was cut, spliced, everyone's doing their thing. It's in the anchor line for 20 minutes, whatever. We get it out. Guy wins the jackpot. Hey, cool, thanks, and he walks away. It's like, wow, that thing was supposed to be gone 3 times already, and it's like, so and obviously it's your money, you win it, but like I said, you need to think of your experience. How did the crew treat you? How was the boat? You know, just how was it? I mean, if you go to a restaurant, you're with those guys for an hour, and you don't think nothing of tipping them 15-20%.
And that's, you're hitting it on the nose for me, Roy, because like a restaurant, I mean, 15% is kind of base minimum for myself, right? But if I've had, you know, the great service, which who doesn't get that on the RP, right? But I'm tipping 20-22%, like even up to 25 if it's I mean, that's on the higher end, right?
But is that a good rule of thumb to think about? Treat it like a restaurant percentage of your ticket cost. That's a good way to good way to think about gratuity.
Yep.
Cool.
Absolutely.
It's a great way to put it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Appreciate the call very much.
Let's jump back into him, Rick, and talk to John. John calling from Mira Mesa. Good morning, John. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Hey, John.
Good morning, you guys. Excuse me. You know, I know all the merits of circle versus a J hook. But personally, just me personally, I fish a J hook like a circle, and every time I hook the thing in the corner of the mouth. And I was just wondering, Roy, what your opinion is of one versus the other.
Personally, I just like the circle hook, just because some people don't. They aren't as disciplined as you. All right, so they a lot of guys, when you use a circle hook, just put it in gear, turn the handle, and that's it. All right. With the J hook, a lot of times they'll swallow it. It gets hooked deep, and you get chewed off. If it accidentally, let's say the fish swallowed it, and even though you didn't get it into the corner of the mouth, you know what I mean? It's just added protection.
Speaking of bait and circle hooks and all that kind of stuff, do you have a way more often than not that you like to pin your baits on? Like, is there a favorite way? Do you always shoulder hook them? Do you always butt hook them? Do you always nose hook them? What could you add to that for a guy like John?
I usually start with the belly hook, the two little fins right over the top of that. And I know a lot of guys with circle hooks, they don't like to use them because they have trouble putting the bait on. But if you take the circle hook, you put your pointing finger on top of the hook and you just push straight down. And the natural momentum, once that hook pierces the flesh of that sardine, it will automatically turn on its own and like corkscrew right in there. That's why a lot of guys shy away from the circle hook, is just because they have trouble putting the bait on.
But the way you described it is very simple. So you're just grabbing between your forefinger and your thumb the hook so that it's pointing down into where you want to hook it.
And I always have the sardine. I have the head up against my chest.
Yeah.
Push straight down, and it just pops right.
Well, if somebody's going on the boat, I mean, that's something definitely to.
We'll show them how to do that.
Yeah.
But that's what a lot of guys kind of shy away from that.
Just because of the difficulty.
How big of a deal is it to get that bait in the water right away, wiggling around on the hook? Like, how much of the whole... You talked earlier about how the right bait is the most important thing. Like, you know, what all goes into that? Is the good bait going to compensate for everything, or can you screw it up by leaving it out of the water too long and putting the hook in the bad spot?
Oh, yeah, no, you want to get that thing. You get that thing, you got to get it in the water as soon as you can. I mean, after 2 minutes, the thing's brained it. I see guys put a bait on there, and then they're standing around, walking around.
Decide to go to the bow. Maybe I'm going to come back. There's too many people over here. I'm going to go over there.
You don't want to do that. Like Frank would say, it's got the chocolate coating on the bait. It's like a candy bar of the fish. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the sardine and all the scales are missing, and, you know, when you put it on there, the eyes are popping out of the head. Now, that's probably not going to do so good. So
gotcha.
You get a good bait and already know where you're going to go.
That's a good tip. That's
such good stuff this morning. Hey, listen, we're going to be right back on Let's Talk Hookup. It's the Southern California Sport Fishing Voice on the Let's Talk Hookup app and the Mightier 1090.
Cedros Island, you've heard of it. Your buddies have gone, but you don't know if it's for you. Yeah, it sounds cool, fishing from pongas and hanging out with a bunch of people at a lodge, but you like your own space. You enjoy some soul time. You want to be part of the community and enjoy the people while you're on your trip. And you want an owner-guided experience so you can explore the whole fishery and all it has to offer. This is Jeff from Cedros Kayak Fishing. I'll greet you when you arrive at Cedros, host you the entire time of your stay, and join you daily for epic fishing experiences the way I fish Cedros, the surrounding islands, and the Baja Coast. Myself and my crew will immerse you in the Cedros Island culture and community so you can experience life on Cedros the way we live it. If you're looking for a more personal style trip with a smaller group and a laid-back atmosphere, Cedros Kayak Fishing is your spot. Give me a call at 760-412-2507 or visit our website, cedroskayakfishing.com. Let's get you down to Cedros.
This is Captain Tim Ekstrom from the long-range vessel Royal Star. With my partners Randy Toussaint and Brian Sims, we have set the bar for the long-range fishing experience. Spring 8-day, summer 5-day, or fly-down, fly-back 11-day winter trip, we deliver the highest quality long-range voyage you will find. From our premium RSW fish storage to our top-of-the-line chefs and crew, Royal Star distinguishes itself from all others. Want to grab a spot on Royal Star? Check us out at RoyalStarSportFishing.com or call Tracy at 619-224-4764.
Don't give up on finicky fish and light bites. The secret to getting more bites is thinner leader for more natural presentations. That's where Seaguar Gold Label leader material shines. It's Seaguar's thinnest leader material yet. 18% thinner and 17% stronger than any other Seaguar leader. That means it's even less visible underwater and creates more natural presentations for better catch rates on leader-shy fish. With exceptional knot and tensile strength, this advanced leader material has been proven all season long on finicky tuna as big as 100 pounds on 40-pound tests. Get Seaguar Gold Label at your favorite tackle dealer or learn more at Seaguar.com.
When it comes to fishing rods for saltwater, there's just one name you need to know, CalStar. Take, for example, the Graphiter series. It's a true graphite and fiberglass composite rod, the finest it's ever been built. And for anglers seeking traditional performance, durability, and quality at an affordable price, the CalStar West Coast series of rods and blanks are the ones for you. Their master craftsmen bring decades of rod building experience to every rod they make. So if you want your fishing rods to be truly state-of-the-art, I always recommend CalStar at fine tackle stores everywhere.
All right, welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. And, man, we've had such a fun 2 hours, and it's just been lit up the whole time. Hey, the big winner today, Tom from University City wins the Anza fillet knife. He's going to be totally stoked
yeah,
with that
no
one.
doubt. Congratulations, Tom. You're stoked. And, Roy, man, I can't believe how fast 2 hours rolls by talking about fishing with you. I had a great time. If somebody wants to come fishing on the Royal Polaris, I know things get booked up. Any opportunities, especially with this early bluefin, potential that we have around, anything fun or good opportunities to go fishing with you on the RP?
Well, I know that we got a Grant's Ultimate Fishing Challenge. It's a yellowfin tuna trip. We fish down below, but that one's got 3 openings
What
on
month?
it. That's in April.
April.
Okay. But it's a long trip. It's an 18-day.
Oh, cool. Okay.
But so if anybody wants to get on that, I know there's 3 spots, and that group is very. They like to have a lot of fun.
That's cool, especially with the great fishing that you saw in your last 2 long trips. A good opportunity to strike while the iron's hot.
Oh, yeah. Well, hopefully it's still available when we
Maybe
get
some
there.
water, too.
Exactly.
Now, that was good. But no, if you want to jump on any of those trips or check for any other trips that we have, give Monica a call at 619-226-8030. Or you can text them at RoyalPolaris.com and get on the website.
And you can book spots directly online, right? Like you can get on the website, see how many spots are available on the trip, get your trip booked right online?
Yeah.
That's cool. Awesome. Well, Roy, great job. Absolutely loved having you on here talking fishing. And when you come back from the next Baja trip, we need to get back in here and do this again.
I'll have some good pictures for you.
That was awesome, Roy. Thanks very much. We really appreciate it. That was a great time. And we appreciate you. Thanks for listening this morning. We had a great show. And again, great time and a big get well to Pete. He'll be back here next week. Tomorrow, another great show coming for you. Greg Stotesbury, expert angler, retired from AFCO. We're going to be talking fishing with Greg tomorrow. Going to be another great show. You stay tuned. Corey and I are coming back on the Mightier 1090 and the Let's Talk Hookup app. Big thanks to Andrew and Adam for taking care of us on the other side. Appreciate it, guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow.